What is going on, LBHT crew? It's me and B here. We're here with a surprise video. Surprise! Actually, this is going to be an ongoing thing. We meant to start it in week 1, but we didn't. So we're here with week 2. We want to give a quick recap of the NFL week. Right? Usually, we give our postseason reactions to the Ravens and Panthers game. So we don't usually get to the rest of the games. We do a prediction on our live show every Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, but we don't do a follow-up one. So here is the start of our follow-up show, our follow-up video reacting to those previous games. But we're going to make this rapid fire. Okay. We're going to try to do this in 10 minutes. 10, 15 minutes, something like that. All right. We're just going to run through the list of the games of the weekend, Saturday or Sunday and Monday, and give our quick reactions. And feel free to leave your comment and react to the games that stood out to you. All right. So, B, are you ready?
Yeah.
B is ready. All right. Before we start, if you're new here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. All right. Here we go. What's the first game?
First up was the Thursday night game, the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly winning 34-28. Had a pretty big game from Jalen Hurts, Swift, and Devontae Smith. Swift with a career high 175 yards rushing in relief of Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, the game was a little bit closer than I thought. Minnesota got to a bad start, but looking how the rest of the NFL was week 1, everybody started out bad. Minnesota does have a lot of talent. You and I are big fans of Kirk Cousins, but when you got talent like that, it's hard to be really bad. So it was close, closer than I expected, but I should have expected it to be closer.
Hard to be really bad, but Minnesota's doing a great job of it. They fall to 0-2.
Yes.
Kirk had a pretty good game. He threw for 4 touchdowns, did have a turnover, another lost fumble. And the Vikings overall had 4 turnovers, which is what really did them in this one.
Yeah.
Moving on to Sunday, we had Green Bay and the Atlanta Falcons. Green Bay falling to 1-1. Atlanta moving to a somewhat surprising 2-0, 25-24.
Yeah, this surprised me. Jordan Love didn't play bad in this game either. I thought he had another good game. It's just look, Atlanta, like I said, surprising. They're more competitive than I thought they'd be. Not surprising if you follow more to tally. Coach Evans did say that they were better than we were giving them credit for. And they're fighting. I still don't think they're that good of a team, but look, you're 2-0, you're 2-0.
They're being carried a bit by their weapons on offense. Bijan Robinson had over 170 total yards in this one. And the Packers were missing David Bakhtiari, Christian Watson, and Aaron Jones off of their offense. So those are pretty significant losses.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it was a close game. But again, this is another team that's having their quarterback carried by those skilled position players on offense. Don't really see that continuing for a full season for Atlanta.
Right. All right. What we got next?
Next up, the the Las Vegas Raiders and the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo put a pretty severe beating on the Raiders, 38-10. Both of them moving to 1-1 for the season. Josh Allen bouncing back with 274 yards and 3 touchdowns. So just an all-around really solid game for Buffalo.
Yeah, look, that's what you tell people. Don't overreact, especially early on in the season, especially week 1. Josh Allen had an awful week, but, he's not a bad quarterback by any means. In fact, I say he's a very good quarterback, and this is a very good bounce back game for him. And the game went exactly how I expected. Jimmy G is just not good, okay? We don't have anything against Jimmy Garoppolo, but I mean, he's just not a good quarterback. The Raiders aren't a good team right now. So, yeah, it went as expected.
maybe he would be a better quarterback if the top running back in the league last year didn't have 9 carries for -2 yards, and Josh Jacobs.
And Josh Jacobs says you get what you pay for. How about
Yeah,
that?
Next up, we had the Ravens over the Bills. We'll probably be going over that on Wednesday. We'll skip right over that one. The Seahawks and the Detroit Lions. Seattle winning 37-31 in overtime.
Look, Detroit, they're better. I thought they'd be competitive. And the Seahawks, I thought they'd be a pretty good team as well. This is, it went down to the wire. I think 2 teams that are going to be competing for playoff spots. I'm very happy to see Geno still picking up where he left off last year and playing well.
Yeah, Geno's still getting it done. Neither one of the run games really getting it done for these teams. Kenneth Walker did score 2 touchdowns, but he had 17 carries for just 43 yards. And over for the Lions, David Montgomery had himself a decent day, but got injured, and it looks like he's going to be missing the next several weeks. So now it's time for them to try and get Jahmyr Gibbs, who they drafted high in the first round, a bit more involved. So we'll see how that goes moving forward.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the eternally cursed Los Angeles Chargers against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee wins this one 27-24. Justin Herbert had 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in another losing effort.
All right, listen, you and I are Justin Herbert fans. We like Justin Herbert. All right. But man, at some point, you better start winning. Okay. You better start winning. And obviously you can't put it all on him. Right. In fact, I under normal circumstances, I wouldn't put it on him because he's not turning the ball over. But this keeps happening to you. This is exactly what happened in the playoffs last season. He didn't turn the ball over. The defense got like 4 or 5 turnovers, and they still lost the game. Man, I don't know what to say. I mean, these are great numbers, but at some point, you got to do something that changes the game and puts your team on top. So they're 0-2, right?
They are 0-2. They lost to Miami in week 1. Austin Eckler is out. So again, another team that didn't really have much of a run game. In this one, they ran 21 times for 61 yards. That's under 3 yards a carry. Like you said, if you're going to be the man, you're going to have that contract. You're going to get all of the attention and all the accolades. At some point, you have to start really affecting these games.
Yes.
Next up, we have, speaking of affecting the games, my goodness, we got the Chicago Bears and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa moves to 2-0, Chicago to 0-2. Tampa's 27-17. And Baker Mayfield is balling out of control in Tampa.
He is. And we call it how we see it. We're not, we don't dislike Baker, but we just don't think he's particularly good. But he's playing well right now. But this is what happens when you have talent, man. Mike Evans is a beast. I think people forget how good Mike Evans is.
And Chris
Godwin. These are very good wide receivers. And he's taking full advantage of it. I mean, he's playing against some teams that just don't have it together right now. But you play who's in front of you. Okay. And right now, Chicago Bears don't have it together. Justin Fields. Now, granted, the coaching staff isn't doing him any favors. Right. I saw that clip that was going out there where they ran the same play 3 times in a row till he threw an interception. That doesn't help, but he's not helping himself out either. So we believe in Justin Fields. We think he's much better than how he's played, but he's played awful to this point. Baker Mayfield has played very well.
Yeah, Fields is he's having a bad season. Just 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions in this one. They're not protecting him, and like you said, the coaching staff is not doing a great job over there. I think that it was a terrible situation he went into, and it hasn't really gotten much better. Like I said, sacked 6 times. On the other side, Baker Mayfield has been hit less than any quarterback not named Tua, I believe, so far this season. And we see that a lot. That's really what not the only thing quarterback play comes down to, but if you protect your quarterback, they're going to be productive, and they're just not doing that in Chicago.
Yep. All right.
Next up, We have the Kansas City Chiefs moving to 1-1 with a 17-9 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, who fall to 1-1. Um, Kansas City's still not really on track at all here.
No.
Pat Mahomes, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. They had Isaiah Pacheco had a decent day running the ball 70 yards, but they just don't look like the Chiefs. They're still trying to figure out who their go-to guys are going to be outside of Travis Kelce, who only had 26 yards in his season debut. But we sort of saw this last season where they just get off to a slow start. But when you have Pat Mahomes, you can still win some of those games.
Look, they've been to 5 straight AFC Championship games. Okay, they're just coming off their second Super Bowl win. Obviously, you're just not going to panic, right? If you're a Kansas City fan, there's no need to panic. They literally just did this last year, and even non-Kansas City fans, you got to look at it and just call it how you see it, man. Like, this is a team that knows what they're doing. We have to go deep into the season before we start to really judge them. If they're still playing like this, then you can start saying, hey, maybe there is something there. But right now, this is how they work.
Yeah, and on the other side, the Jaguars, obviously not a great day for them. Trevor Lawrence got sacked 4 times. Another team who couldn't really get the run game going. We're noticing a trend there where, I think it's still kind of early in the season. Offenses aren't really clicking at this point. Defenses are a bit ahead, and defenses are catching up to offenses in the league in general. So just a rough outing for the Jaguars. Next up, we have the Colts winning 31-20 over the Texans. The Colts are 1-1. Houston dropping to 0-2. This one was unfortunate because Anthony Richardson didn't get to finish this game. He took a hit, scoring his second rushing touchdown in that protocol. He was out there. He's able to make some plays for them, but Gardner Minshew came in. Went 19 for 23, 171 yards and a touchdown, and kind of closed the door on Houston a little bit there. But the Texans, they have to be happy with what they're seeing from CJ Stroud up to this point. But overall, as a team, they're just not really where they need to be.
Not yet, but like you said, CJ Stroud's playing well. All right. And I think it's going to start to come together for them even more down the stretch there. So the nucleus of their team is looking really good. Both of these teams, I think, are going to be set. And Richardson, like you said, concussion protocol, probably won't play this coming week, playing my Ravens. So that's a bonus for us. But, we don't like to see players injured under any circumstances. So, get well soon.
Yeah. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers go to 2-0 with a 30-23 win over the 1-1 LA Rams. Matt Stafford in this one turned the ball over a couple times. They were without their former starting running back Cam Akers, who they are now looking to trade. Obviously, they're still without Cooper Kupp, who is on IR. So they've been struggling. They struggled a bit in this one. Their only real weapon on offense being rookie Puka Nacua, who had 15 catches for 147 yards, looking like the best rookie receiver in the NFL. But, they just didn't have enough against one of the best teams out there in San Francisco. McCaffrey went over 100 yards rushing again. They had 3 rushing touchdowns, 159 total yards on the ground. And Brock Purdy continues to play pretty mistake-free football.
Yeah. But this game was a lot closer than people expected. I actually picked the Rams to win. This was my mic, my OTR mic. Not so fast, my friends. Okay. I just felt like, division rivals, especially early on when teams are still kind of sloppy, they can steal a victory, and they almost did, but too many turnovers.
Next up, the New York Giants moved to 1-1 with a 31-28 victory over the Arizona Cardinals, who are now 0-2. I don't even want to give New York any credit for coming back in this one. They didn't. They had 0 points at halftime. They were down 20-0, and they came back. They won 31-28. The Giants have looked awful. They've looked terrible, and they lost Saquon Barkley in this one. The initial word was he'd be out for about 3 weeks. Now their coach is saying he's not ruling him out for this Thursday, so we'll see. The Cardinals are starting Joshua Dobbs, so that tells you where they're at.
Listen, man, Saquon better not play. 3 weeks? No, it's more like 6 weeks if I'm Saquon. All right, all these running backs that these teams didn't want to play, take your time coming back. All right. We just saw what happened to Nick Chubb. We'll get to that game. Don't listen. Preserve yourself for teams that actually want to pay you. Okay. Let that train wreck by itself. Okay. You watch from the sides. All right. Don't be involved in that.
Next up, the Washington Commanders edged out a victory over Denver 35-33. The Broncos 0-2, Washington 2-0. And look, I don't want to say I told you so, but Sam Howell out here killing it. Sam had 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Brian Robinson had a good day with 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. And they have a plethora of weapons in the pass game with McLaurin and Samuel and Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
And Howell's been able to spread the ball around. Denver, I mean, they staged a comeback. They fell short. They scored on a Hail Mary as time expired and couldn't get the 2-point conversion. But they're just not. It's just too little, too late for them, right? Like they're not playing consistently well. You shouldn't be having to go for a last-second Hail Mary to come back on a team like Washington. Neither O-line in this one played well. Sam Howell got sacked 4 times, but Russ went down 7 times.
Yeah.
And it's just not good enough. So far, the Sean Payton era is off to a rough start.
Yeah, I understand it's early and all these teams are treating this first couple of weeks like preseason, but they can't be that way for Russ. Russ needed to be out here and playing like Tua, okay? Because he took a whole year off last year. So maybe this is it. Maybe Russ is cooked. I kind of felt that he would bounce back this year. It is early. I mean, that's going to be my caveat for a lot of these teams right now. A lot of these games, it is early, but he looks like he did last year.
Look, I think Russ is cooked, but like I said, it's early, so we'll wait and see. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets. Dallas wins 30-10 to move to 2-0. The Jets fall to 1-1, and I'll tell you who it's not early for. That's Zach Wilson, who went 12 for 27, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. God awful. Garrett Wilson, who is one of the best young receivers in the league, had 2 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown on 8 targets. The only reason he even looks that good is because he caught 1 pass and took it to the house himself, a 68-yarder. But when you have a player like that and you can't get him involved, when you have Breece Hall, who's an outstanding young running back, saying, hey, the problem with the offense is I only touched the ball 4 times, like it's just not working.
Listen, RG3 on when his shows on ESPN said that the best quarterback to give them a chance to win is Zach Wilson because he's been in that system. He's been mentored by Aaron Rodgers, blah, 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 right? And I kind of went along with this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he has a point there. It's hard to bring somebody in and just learn the system. When you got somebody, a young quarterback that he drafted, was a number 1 or number 2 overall. And, he's probably your best shot at sustaining something there this season. But it turns out the answer is no, he might be the worst option. You can literally get anybody else and do a better job.
Yeah, the guy who can't play is never the best option. Yeah. Over on Dallas' side, I mean, look, Dak played well enough, 31 for 38, 255 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But the real story is that of those 255 yards, 143 of them went to CeeDee Lamb. And what are you doing in New York? Where's Sauce Gardner at?
Where's Sauce?
Yeah. Where's Whitehead at? What happened to the defense who locked up Josh Allen in the first week? Yeah. What are we doing? But whatever. I mean, it's the Jets. They're far less interesting now that Aaron Rodgers is out.
That's true.
they're just the Jets again. Moving on, we got the Miami Dolphins moving to 2-0 with a 24-17 win over the 0-2 New England Patriots. This one was closer than I thought it would be, but the Dolphins are, they continue to roll. I mean, I don't think that it was ever really in doubt. The final score was a one-score game, but they seem to have this one in hand through most of the day.
Yeah, Tua's looking great. Tyreek Hill's looking great. That whole offense is looking great. Okay, they're going to be a problem this year. The Patriots are looking bad. Matt Jones, I think he had a good day stat wise, but again, when you watch the game, he's not really making a difference out there. I'm always happy for Judon. Judon got a sack. I'm always happy to see Judon do well, but wish he was still a Raven.
The Patriots are a team who they're not bad at any position, but they're not good at any position either.
Yeah,
and they're just kind of there. They're going to be, you could say they're going to be a tough out every week, but they're going to go out every week.
Yeah.
Next up, we just have the Monday night game left, the Browns and the Steelers. Pittsburgh gets a win 26-22. Both teams are 1-1. The game wasn't, I'll say it's not nearly as entertaining as 26-22 might lead you to believe. The major takeaways from this one for me were Deshaun Watson still can't remember how to play quarterback. Kenny Pickett never knew how to play quarterback, but he did learn how to lie to us in the preseason.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, again, Kev, got to throw it out there. It's early, but he just doesn't look right. Is he going to get it together at some point? It's going to be a lot harder without Nick Chubb there. Nick Chubb, season-ending knee injury, it looked bad.
It was very, very bad. He tore multiple ligaments in his knee, the same knee where he tore multiple ligaments in college. So, I mean, that's going to be a tough road back for him.
Yeah. Feel bad for him. But that really hurts the Browns. Even with Nick Chubb, who was clearly their best weapon, even with him in the game, they were struggling. But I feel like they're going to win that game. But moving forward, I think these are the two worst teams in the AFC North.
Yeah, the Bengals aren't on track yet, but I feel like they'll get there. These two teams, I don't know. I mean, Kenny Pickett just doesn't look like he took the step forward that we kind of thought that he did in preseason. Deshaun Watson, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 2 lost fumbles. So it's just all bad over there. He got sacked 6 times in this game. Now, even with Nick Chubb going out, Jerome Ford did come in with 16 carries for 106 yards. Do you think maybe they'll be able to sustain the running game? Maybe, but it's not going to matter if Deshaun Watson keeps playing the way he's been playing.
All right. Well, that wasn't 15 minutes. We went a little bit over, but that's okay. We're going to, it's early for us too. It's early in the season. Okay. We're going to refine our skills as well. All right. But we did not include the Ravens or the Panthers. Those are our teams. We covered those on the Wednesday show, the LBHT show, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. Also, every now and then you might see us throw out, a couple of quick thoughts on how the team is performing. So just keep an eye out for that. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Okay. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our videos when they do come out. We cover more than just NFL. We also cover a little NBA. NBA is in the off season right now, so we're not covering that much right now. But when it starts up, you'll see more videos from us. Also combat sports. So, if you're into UFC, you're into boxing, we discuss a little bit of that on the show. Also, if you're a huge boxing fan, you can go over to Ring Kings Podcast. All right. That's our other channel that we do with our brother OTR Mike. All right. We haven't put out a video in a couple of weeks, but that's okay. We have a lot in store for you. So lots to discuss over there. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But that is it for our first weekly recap. All right. It's week 2. You'll see this from us every week. So be on the lookout for that. Hope you enjoyed it. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.